Abbey Road Orchestra Symphonic Strings Professional is the latest string package from Spitfire Audio. This forms part of the ever-expanding library based around Abbey Road Studios, but this edition features a relatively large string section recorded in the iconic Studio One. Studio One at Abbey Road is a particular favourite for recording film scores. It's played host to the recording of the music for many A-list feature films. From Star Wars through to James Bond and just about everything in between, Abbey Road Studio One is more often than not the composer's choice. Symphonic Strings Professional is a bundle package. You can actually buy the 5 sections included within this bundle individually, but by purchasing within the bundle price of £999, you gain a considerable discount. This package makes use of Spitfire's own proprietary player, which is available in audio unit, VST2 and 3, and AAX plugin formats. It features 5 string designations, in line with string section tradition. So what we hear as part of the package is 16 first violins, 14 second violins, 12 violas, 10 cellos, and 8 double basses. It's a traditional 5-part arrangement, as would be expected in orchestral norms. All of the instruments have been very deeply sampled. And while we have seen bigger sampling packages from Spitfire, the data does soak up a disk space of 408 GB for the samples. There are up to 26 articulations for each instrument, along with a host of different multiple mic channels and mixes, with the mixes curated by Grammy Award-winning engineer Simon Rhodes. As we hear some examples from this package, it's worth noting that we haven't added any external processing of any kind. So let's dive in and take a look at what we've got in the plugin. We select one of our 5 different instrument settings by going to the menu at the top, at which point we reveal the categories available to us. We're starting with first violins, and at the bottom of the plugin window you can see the various articulations that we have available to us. As with just about all orchestral plugins, having access to some form of MIDI control faders is going to really allow you to get the best from the plugin. It's this control that will allow you to invoke some expression into your sounds and playing. Our first articulation is a performance legato. You then have the option to either select articulations by clicking on them, or you can key switch by using the very low extremity of the keyboard. We can switch from a staccato articulation to something as beautiful as the long flautando. We can also scroll across to see the other articulations available, such as minor trills or pizzicato. We've now moved over to a cello patch, but you can see that the articulation layout is predominantly the same. If we look in the upper part of the window, you can see that we have 2 faders and a large wheel. The fader on the left is hardwired to MIDI controller 11, which is expressive volume. We're controlling this using a fader. The next fader is linked directly to the modulation wheel, although we have it assigned to a fader as well, and is specifically used for creating timbral dynamics. The wheel in the centre is assignable, but we have it currently set to vibrato. Once again, we have this assigned to a fader. It's through the control of these elements where you're able to get the expression. It's also at this stage where you can hear the very deep nature of the sampling that Spitfire have undertaken. One area that Spitfire have really catered for in this package is the extensive array of legato articulations. One that really sticks out to us is the legato runs articulation. These can be notoriously difficult to get right because of the speed. If we move back to the performance legato, one additional feature relates to the way that you might play on the keyboard. You can play legato in the usual way. However, if you play very quietly on your keyboard, you get this effect. It's effectively a portamento glide between each note you play. It's worth noting that as all the sounds we're hearing are emanating from the plugin, any reverberation you hear is very much captured within the room. There is much to applaud with this plugin. Sonically, it does sound fantastic in so many instances. We did find that there was quite a lot of latency and lag with some of the legato articulations, but to be fair, this is very much part and parcel of playing legato articulations in any plugin. It does mean that there might be some extra work, and it can be quite difficult to track on as a consequence. One instrument that didn't perform quite so well in the legato patching was the viola. On occasion, it felt a little bit lumpy when compared to the fantastic violins and cello legatos. However, there are a couple of other little caveats that we must mention. First of all, Spitfire's choice to use their own proprietary plugin for this package will not resonate with all. The plugin doesn't work in a multi-timbral fashion like some other competitors, which ultimately means that for certain working practices it's not quite as flexible as it could be. Whilst it's absolutely fantastic to have the detail across all sections that we have here, there is no ensemble patching, and sometimes you just want a full string ensemble to get some ideas down quickly. But the biggest issue that we found overall was really to do with loading times for the plugin. With our examples where we only had a handful of plugins loaded, we would find projects taking several minutes to load, where this would not be the case with other Spitfire packages that run in, say, Kontakt. Placing Spitfire's player to one side, this is a hugely versatile and impressive package at the sonic level, and one that covers most bases incredibly well.